Welcome back to Newsstand. I can't get down from here. It's scary. This week, Fox News asked Caroline Leavitt if there would be a draft for the growing illegal war on Iran. Leavitt said the president does not remove options from the table. You heard it here first, folks. Military-age boys might be on our way into war. So Barron, you better learn to duck, buddy. Barron looks like Mike TV after he went through the taffy puller. He also looks like he called all the Oompa Loompa slurs on his way out of the factory. We have a leaked entry in Barron's diary from earlier this week. It's a pros and cons list of going to war. Pros: Fortnite IRL, eating astronaut ice cream, dad might hug me. Cons: missing spring break. Anyway, Caroline Leavitt said the president does not remove options off the table unless he's catering guests at the White House. Then there's only one option.
Arby's. We have funding by Rourke Capital Group, a private equity worth billions that's named after an Ayn Rand character.
And the meats. I know you like Arby's, Desk Monsters, but you never bring any curly fries back for me. That's the only thing I eat from there. Only thing I can trust. The president purchased Florsheim shoes, that must be something fancy, I don't know, and I don't own, for all of his staff, apparently eyeballing their shoe sizes. Marco Rubio was spotted in his oversized pair, allegedly too scared to not wear them. The president said he was simply trying to leave enough space for Rubio's 4-inch inserts. More likely, though, the president thinks, well, surely everyone's arteries are so clogged with McDonald's and hatred that their ankles have grown 3 sizes. What, just me? Not to be crass, but this definitely reflects his assumption of their dick size, too. Right? Makes sense, J.D. Vance's looks like it has some extra cushioning. You just know J.D. Vance goes crazy for a foot cushion. Eee. The primaries are in full swing, and last week in Texas, the ShamWow guy lost in the Republican primary. He claimed the election was rigged against him because the GOP deleted his ShamWow nickname from the ballot. After the polls closed, he was overheard in disbelief saying, quote, "This election is a sham!" Wow! Pretty good, huh? Thanks for tuning in. Speaking of a mess a ShamWow can't clean, other than all of them, a pipe in Washington, D.C. spilled 244 million gallons of sewage into the Potomac River in January. And this is the first I'm hearing of it, too. AP reported it was so much sewage that, quote, officials tracked a spike of gut-wrenching bacteria drifting slowly past Washington for weeks. Weird. Also tracking the gut-wrenching bacteria was RFK Jr. holding a knife and fork and a dinner bib while smacking his lips. And in Baltimore, sewage has been rising and overflowing in people's basements for months. More like Baltimore poop and pee in my basement, please. Thanks for tuning in. Good morning, Baltimore. There's more shit behind every door. Every night's like a fantasy. The world's gonna wake up and see Baltimore poop and pee. Yes, in Baltimore, sewage has been overflowing in people's basements for months. And in totally unrelated news, millennials can now afford to buy a home. Oh, so long as it's a Baltimore home with a basement. Sounds like a good deal. Sure, Desk Monsters. Young people do just need to work a little harder like you did, and we'll all be able to afford a mortgage. Yep, damn avocado toast strikes again. The new Supreme Leader Ayatollah of Iran is the son of the one the US military just assassinated. However, early reports suggested this was just David Cross in disguise. I mean, you see it too, right? I'm not crazy. The new leader said, "Please, Supreme Leader Ayatollah of Iran was my father. Call me that as well, please." Here's some, wow, it's really the end times coming up, isn't it, news? Iran state media shared a Lego-inspired propaganda video featuring the US president ordering a strike on a girls' school, which makes the new Nintendo Switch 2 offering make a little more sense. Hey, before I make this next joke, just know I'm anti this war, I'm anti-regime change, I'm anti-American interventionism, but on the topic of the Legos, do you think when the Ayatollah got assassinated, he made this sound? Speaking of stuff no one asked for, Pete Hegseth's military. You gotta get a new name, Pete. I'm sick of saying it. Pete Hegseth's military spent 93 million taxpayer dollars on a bunch of bullshit in 1 month, and that's not even including the bullshit war he started. He spent $9 million on crab legs and lobster, for instance, $2 million in crab legs alone. I can't believe he spent that much taxpayer money on 3.5 crab legs. It's like that old saying, you can't buy a tablet without cracking a few legs. What? The good news is, another drill prophecy has been fulfilled. Spend less on candles. No. Incredible double headline from Deadline here. We're getting a 2-season Stewie from Family Guy spinoff, and the FBI director said that UFC fighters are going to be training FBI agents. In his incompetent leadership, FBI Director Kash Patel showed up to Stewie headquarters and got his ass kicked by a bunch of comedy writers. They put the stew in Stew FC. The Pokemon Company condemned the White House Twitter account for using their game to make a MAGA meme, and Nintendo is suing the US government over the tariffs for a full refund. Meanwhile, all the actors from that Berlin Film Festival from a couple weeks ago are still on the lookout for that apolitical art. Hey, Neil Patrick Harris, you have less of a spine than a ditto. My writers told me that was a Pokemon that would make sense for this joke, because he doesn't have a spine. He's just like a pile of goop, I think. So not a vertebrate. Anyway, get out of here, Neil Patrick Harris. Nintendo's X account, you can have this for free.
Who's that Pokemon?
It's Pikachu!
It's the fascist warmonger, Clefairy!
Fuck! That's a relevant bit, right? I'm sure the president just got confused why the White House would post something like that. He did play Pocket Monster on an island, it just wasn't Sinnoh. Again, is that how you pronounce the Pokemon island? No one told me. Sinnoh? Sinnoh. Oh, was there some sin? I didn't love that joke either. I just came up with it off the dome. I want to go back to that Hegseth crab legs thing. He spent $9 million on crab legs and lobster. And you know what? There's a lot of people that work at the Pentagon. We all eat every day. Did he need to buy expensive seafood? No, but the math, I guess, lines up. But how the hell do you spend $12K on fruit basket stands? Like, is it the little fruit basket stands on your kitchen counter to hold your bananas? Or like a farmer's market fruit stand? You got farmer's market fruit stands at the Pentagon? No, Desk Monsters. This is not me forgiving you for blowing the show budget on an edible arrangement. You didn't even let me have some. You bought it for yourself. This has been another episode of Newsstand. No, next time you get an edible arrangement, can you make it an edible arrangement? Guys, I mean weed. Oh, calm down. It'll be a draft for the growing illegal war on Iraq. Nope, wrong one. More like Baltimore, poop, and plea. Fuck. It's quite the title. I mean, I wouldn't have killed his dad. You can't buy a tablet without cooking a few eggs. I said even the joke wrong.